How you doing? I haven't made a video in quite a while, and I've done quite a few projects. I just haven't taken the time to video anything that I've been drawing or doing. So decided to come back to it, and I kind of hit a lull in the things to do in the shop. So I've got an old project that I'd been working on for quite a few years. I haven't touched this in about 4 years. It's a model of the Yulee sugar mill, and I'm going to start drawing and making up some more parts for this. I haven't actually touched this in about 4 years. So what I need to do is make a coupling for this shaft right here. These are 1/2 inch shafts coming out, and the original engine. See if I can find a picture for you. There's that's not the original engine. There's two square blocks that meet together here, and what they must have had on this one was a bolt together coupling. The two squares are actually two different sizes on the original, and the coupling had to have bolted together, so they would have had a way to actually disengage the roller mill from the engine if they needed to work on it or anything like that. So some of these, actually the shaft was round back here still, and the internal square coupling could be slid to one side to where it would disengage. But by the way this is designed, with the square all the way against the actual mounts and against the gear, this one couldn't be slid out of the way, so it had to be unbolted. The original parts are missing. Most of the original parts on this engine were missing when I built the model, so I just had to go from sugar mill pictures from the 1850s and steam engines from the 1850s. I used the bolt hole patterns from the frames and everything to determine what was actually there. So I'm going to show you here. This particular sugar mill, if you look at the coupling here, you can see this is the type where the shaft is round back here. These two were square. It's a little hard to see, and the square block fit over the two squares right here, and they could slide that sideways. Well, I'm going to have to make it where bolts will actually bolt it together. I didn't put the square ends on my shafts. You won't be able to see them once the coupling's on there anyway. And just for safety reasons, because when this engine is actually running, this is really very dangerous. There's enough power here to really smash your fingers if you stuck them in between the rollers, or got them in between these gears. With the gear ratio that's running here, this thing is really quite powerful. So what I'm doing is, I'm going to make the coupling, and it's going to crimp onto the one end, but internally I'm going to put probably just a thin piece of plastic in there. This will be a loose fit on the other shaft, and I'll slot the shaft and probably just put a flat piece of plastic in there, something that can break away in case something did get engaged in the rollers. I don't know why people seeing this engine running, they instantly want to stick their fingers up there next to it while it's running. I've had a couple of people that I had to knock their hand out of the way. So anyway, let's get on with the actual drawing of the part. In eMachine Shop, the part is 0.875 long. It's 8/10 of an inch wide, and it's 7/10 of an inch tall. So I'm going to just start out by a top view, and we'll just draw a rectangle, and it is 0.875 long, and it is 0.8 wide. So that's the block that the material is going to come out of. Now I'm going to use 4 bolts to actually put this together. This is the top view, and the bolt heads, the outside diameter of them, I need a 0.180 for a recess for them to sit in. I'm having trouble talking here. So I'm going to need 4 of those. So I'm going to hit Control D and make 3 more. Now also I want to place these at 4 corners here. So I'm going to draw a rectangle. I'm going to make my rectangle 0.180 by 0.090, and I'll place that up in the corner here. And I'll just use this as a tool to actually place my my circles. And I'll go pretty fast here. I've already done several videos, so I'm just going to go ahead now and strike a line across here, holding my Control key to hold the line straight. I'm just going to snap through. Then I'm going to grab my rectangle again to place this next 2 circles. I'm going to draw another line, holding my Control key so it snaps straight. Need my rectangle. Drop it back in here. Snap that into where it belongs. Okay, I can delete my rectangle. Now, the hole through the center of this for the bolts is 0.120. So I'll just go ahead and draw those. 0.120. Hit enter. Now I'm going to duplicate that 3 more times, holding down the Control key and hitting D. And these will snap to the center here, here, and all 4 corners. All right. Now that I have that, I'm going to select everything. I'll just go ahead and go up to the top and say select all, or you could hit Control A. I'm going to select everything. Then I'm going to say line intersect. I could have hit Control I. And I'm going to delete off all the lines I don't need now. And you'll see the actual part start to come out of here. I don't need that, 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 that. These 2 little stubs on the end. All right, and there's the top view of my part now. With that, then I need to make a I'll make another copy of this because I'm actually going to pocket these down into this. And to do that, this first one's going to be an outside cut, so I'll do the G-code for the outside cut, do the points to actually drill these 4 holes. Just to locate this, when I'm actually doing the G-code, I want to locate this part centered, and I'm going to do it in a 4-sided collet block, and that way I can just flip it over and do each side. So I'm just going to put a circle in the center of this. If I can find center here, if it's going to snap. No, it's not a snap. Okay, so I have to draw 2 lines. The circle doesn't represent anything. It's just to help the G-code locate the center of this part, so its size does not matter. Then I'll take and delete these. I'll hold down the control key, delete these two lines back out of here. And like I said, this circle doesn't represent anything. It's just when I'll use it as centered, so that locating these 4 holes for drilling them in the G-code. The side view of this, I can draw it, and it is 0.875. We'll just scroll out a little bit. It is 0.875 by 0.7. .7 tall. Okay. Just move this down. It doesn't really have to snap in. I'm going to probably run a ball mill through this side here and curve it out. These lines will carry down. So let's see if I can get this to work. I'll just square this up, and I can carry these lines down. If you hit your space bar, click off the screen and hit your space bar, you can get the same tool back again. Holding the control key makes it snap straight. Alright, let's see, I want to find a center line here. And then I want to do a half inch by 0.7 rectangle. So we'll draw a rectangle. No, it's a ½ inch tall by 0.875. Long. Okay. This will represent the upper edge of where that ball cutter is going to come through there. Now, let's see if I can get this straight in my head. Alright, I need to start deleting some lines off, so I'm just going to click Edit, Select All. Edit, Select All. Hold on just a second, I have to pause. Alright, let's see, where was I? Now I've got everything selected. I'm going to go ahead and delete out. So I'm going to say line, intersect, and hold down the control key, pick out all these lines that I'm not going to be using. There's probably easier ways to do this, but this is the way I do it, so. Okay, I'll take that much out and see if I missed anything. Yeah, I did. Alright, there's a side view. This is split down the middle, so I can go ahead and leave a line in the middle. And these aren't actually going to be cut square off like this, because I'm going to take the center out of here with a 1/2 inch ball mill. I'll do an end view and it'll look a little closer to what I'm going to do. Might as well go ahead and draw the end view now. Let's see. It's going to be another rectangle. That's going to be 0.8 by 0.8 tall by 0.8 wide by 0.7 tall. 0.8 wide, 8 wide by 0.7 tall. I'm actually designing this as I'm drawing it here. I've got a general idea how this is going to look. And so let's see, from the side, let's go ahead and move this over a little more. I need to draw a 1/2 inch circle in the center. Then I need to draw another 1/2 inch circle. Well, I could just duplicate this one twice. Okay. Let me think now. I want to leave a space here, so I'm actually going to this is 0.09 90 thousandths from here to here, so I want to come in 90 thousandths here, so I'm going to draw a line here and then draw another line here, holding Control key to make sure it's straight. And now I'm going to say that line is 90 thousandths. And I'll say this line is 90 thousandths. And then I want to bring this in like that. Bring this in like that. Gonna just select everything here. I'm going to say line intersect. And then holding down the Control key, I'm going to pick out everything that I'm going to delete out. Alright. Once again, I've got, this will be split in half, so I can draw a line from here to here, and just grab it all, intersect again. And we'll delete that out. Okay, now that's showing the two halves from the end view. I need to draw a line. Well, I can just do it this way. Hold down the Control key, come to this point, draw a line straight up. Draw a line straight down. Draw a line straight up, and another one straight down. Select all again. Line intersect. and delete this line, this line, this line, and that line. I'm going to leave the split line out. It's just making things confusing. Alright. That should be it for the actual drawing. I'm going to do one more drawing. I'm going to copy this. Now, first thing I'm going to do is select this, and I'm going to round the corners. I'm going to say line, corner. Okay, let's see what I'm doing here. I'm going to hold down the control key and deselect these. Alright. My cutter is going to be a 16th, so I'm going to radius these inside corners. So I'm going to say line, corner. That be 0.031. I've already got it in there. I want to do inside corners. Click OK. Nope, I want to do outside corners. Okay, let's go edit, undo. Let's just group this. I should have showed you another way to do that. I could have hit line intersected and it would have picked them all. But go like that and then say line group. Selected lines have multiple Z values. Okay. Now there's an error here. I don't know what that is. That's something happening. Okay, we're going to select the lines. I'm going to go ahead and put the corners. Line, corner. Let's put it on the outside this time and click OK. That's what I did the last time. Edit, undo. Line, corner, do the inside, click OK. Alright, there we got it. Alright, so that looks a little better. When this is all actually done, before I cut it away, it's in I'm cutting this out of a piece of round stock that the end's been turned down to 1 inch to fit in a collet, and that way I can just flip the block over 4 directions to do the work to it. Before I cut it loose from that 1 inch piece, that 1 inch stub on the end of it, I'm going to turn this, put this back in the lathe, and I'm going to turn these corners down and radius them so that it looks a little more like a casting, a little rougher item than I may just do it with sandpaper to just kind of round off all these square edges, because all the parts on the original were all castings. But this should do for what I need right now. I'm going to select this and move it down. And I need another drawing, and it's going to be to pocket these down in here just a little further, and so the bolts don't stick out so far when this is put together. I'll have to go look and see what the dimension of the nut is. So give me just a second here. I'm going to pause again. Outside circle that it sits in, so I'm going to just take this and copy it. paste it. And while it's selected, I'm going to move it over here. And what I need to do is, I don't need all this information for doing these pockets. And I'm actually not going to do the pockets as big on this one. They're going to be 0.180 here, but they're going to be larger on this one. So I need another copy of this. So I'm going to hit Control D and make another copy of this. It's hard to see there. It only moved it over 5 thousandths, but I'm going to move this over here. And this is all for the G code. You have to change the drawings for what you're going to have the machine do. So this particular drawing right here, I want to draw 4 circles, 0.280. And I'm going to duplicate that 3 times. And they're going to set right here. If I can get them to snap into position. Of course not. That's alright. I'm going to select this outside line and delete it. And then carefully drop these into place. Okay, that'll be the 4 little pockets for the bottom side. And then now I need to take this one. I'm going to delete that off of there because I'm centering. When I tell it where my point of origin is, it's going to be the center, and that's why these circles are here. I'm going to delete that. And then I need 4 circles. 0.180. And hit Control D 3 more times. I think I hit it 4. Alright, that'll be the pockets for the heads of the screws to sit into. So now the only thing else I see that I need, add 1 extra part there, is this is going to line off the center of the part too. There's no drilling off this side. I need to draw 2 lines here. 4 lines. I had them in there and I took them out. Alright. I think I'll take that one out. Just looking confusing again. Now, I'll save all this in the same drawing, and then when I bring it into D2 and C, I'll select just the drawing that I'm working with at each particular time that I'm doing the G code, and the rest of them I'll delete out. It doesn't delete them out of your original drawing. It just deletes them out of the information that D2 and C is working with. I'm going to drag this down a little bit. Just get it out of the way, and I'm going to group it. This one here, I group it. Group them all, just so nothing gets bumped or moved. Okay, that should be, once I get this all machined out, I'll just take a splitting saw and I'll split this in two. So that should be all the information I'm going to need. So I'm going to go ahead and save the file. I'm going to save it to, I got to look, see which drive I'm using here. Yep. Let me unplug one of these. Figure out. Okay. I'm going to save it to E and call it mill shaft coupling. I save it on the little USB drive so that I can take it over. All the files stay together and I can take it over to the actual machine. I'm going to machine this out on my ZX45 mill instead of my Sherline. All the rest of the model was built on a little Sherline mill and lathe, CNC mill and lathe. But I'm going to try to use my high-speed head in the bigger mill and see how it does. So I'm going to go ahead and save this file. And then once it's saved, I'm going to go ahead and export the file to the same location as the DXF. I want to go back there and look. File, export. I haven't used this one for, okay, make sure nothing is clicked on over here so I didn't bring any extra garbage in with it. And I'm going to cancel that out. Okay, so that's it for the drawing part of this. I'll start another video on actually doing the G code in D2NC. I did want to show you as I was going through the pic. I did have a picture where I've got the collet set up in the chuck, in the vise, and here's the piece of material. It's already been drilled and reamed to a 1/2 inch for the shaft, and this is what I'm going to actually machine the part out of. That's it for this video.